On Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining us in the debate, Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP, Tushar Gupta, senior editor at Swarajya, Zubair Memon, political analyst, Gokul Chandran, also a political analyst. Let me start with you, Touseef Ahmed, because in addition to being a political analyst, you are yourself a lawyer. Does the Supreme Court's verdict today show that what we have heard for the last 16 years was a politically motivated, fact-free campaign against Narendra Modi?
No, Padmaja, it does not show so, and there are two reasons I will tell you. We must not forget that the Supreme Court that we are talking today, under the Prime Ministership of Narendra Modi, is the same Supreme Court where the top senior judges of the court came out, had a press briefing, and told the nation that all is not good in this Supreme Court. That's point number one. Point number two, the government of India appointed commission, Justice Banerjee Commission, Justice Banerjee report is there, which said that the train burning incident was an accident, which was used by, by the ruling, by the group of, you can say, those who came to power later and still continue to be in power for their political motive. The charge that was there and the fact which cannot be denied today is that Mr. Modi was the Chief Minister of Gujarat when the Gujarat program happened.
Nobody is denying
that. It was under the watch
but the SIT
of Mr.
has found
Modi
that as the Chief Minister of Gujarat, he called in the army, timely action was taken, and if there was a laxity, it was on the part of a few officials, not at the behest of the Chief Minister. Who's denying that he was the Chief Minister? Of course he was the Chief Minister.
By the Supreme Court, which by the Supreme Court, which has just few years ago
so let me just ask you this, sir. First of all, we live in a wonderful age where people are given certificates of whether they are on the right side of the law or they are on the wrong side. So the Supreme Court, a two-judge bench, is compromised. Why? Because you say so. But Justice Banerjee, and I say this with the greatest of respect to him, is upstanding because you say so. So Justice Banerjee should be believed, but Justice Khanwilkar is compromised. Why? Why?
No. You as a media person cannot be selective when you talk about
but you as a lawyer can be selective and say Justice Banerjee said that the train burning happened. But Justice Khanwilkar, who is saying that this was a motivated campaign, there is something wrong with him. How as a lawyer are you saying that, sir? You are casting aspersions on the Supreme Court and both judges. You are a lawyer.
Limit as an anchor.
You are exceeding your limits as a lawyer. You are casting aspersions on two sitting judges of the Supreme Court.
If you continue to me like
Mr. Ahmed,
if you continue to talk with me in this manner, I know you are being a dog of which group, and therefore I will not continue.
Language, okay?
But you must
first of all, language. Hold on a second. Kindly do not use that language. This is not that channel where you come and use such language. I am being extremely respectful of you. Do not misuse the decency that I am treating you with. Point number one. Point number two, let me ask you directly. Are you casting aspersions on two sitting judges of the Supreme Court, Mr. Ahmed?
That you are supported by the BJP or that you are a woman. Stop playing all those, stop playing that with me.
I didn't even say anything about being a woman. I don't need to use those cards. I'm just saying be decent. Don't use language about who's a dog or who's not a dog. Be decent. Behave like a civilized person.
I am asking you to be, you behave like a fair anchor and a civilized anchor and not some who are not like a Godi media who has been bought by the government.
By your saying so, I don't become Godi or good. I don't need your certificates. Thank you very much. I am asking you a straight question. Are you saying that a sitting judge of the Supreme Court, Justice Khanwilkar, is compromised? Is that what you're saying?
I am reminding you that not very long ago, this very Supreme Court, top Supreme Court judges came out and reminded the people of India.
I don't need reminding, sir. Are you calling this bench compromised, yes or no?
Forget that. We cannot forget that.
Are you calling this bench compromised, yes or no?
To forget it for your own reason.
You you calling this bench compromised, yes or no? Yes or no?
I am simply reminding the fact that this Supreme Court not long ago told people of India that all is not well in the apex court.
Okay, Sanju Verma, all is not well in the Supreme Court.
There is no denial to that fact.
Okay, Supreme Court, all is not well.
Padmaja, may I?
Yes.
Thank you. Padmaja, first and foremost, hats off to your patience. Coming to the moot point. The moot point is this. I am not surprised at all that today the integrity of the Supreme Court, the apex institution of the country, is being questioned by that very lobby which believes in the Supreme Court when judgments are passed in its favor. When judgments are passed which are not to the liking of this so-called lobby, which has been trying to nail Narendra Modi wrongfully at that for the last 20 years, then they will say, Supreme Court galat hai. When in 2015, Yaqub Mehmet was given the capital punishment, this lobby started whining. Supreme Court galat hai. 2018-19, Rafale judgment, because the Supreme Court said there was no hanky-panky in the deal, Supreme Court galat hai. When Sanjeev Bhatt's lies was called out by the Supreme Court galat hai. When Teesta Setalwad's lies was called out by the Supreme Court galat hai. And today, the Supreme Court has said there was no criminal conspiracy by Narendra Modi in the Gujarat Riots. But more importantly, Padmaja, the fact that Narendra Modi was innocent was proved by the Metropolitan Court, by the Lower Magistrate Court, by the Gujarat High Court, by the Supreme Court in 2014 and 2018. Today, the more important point is this. The Supreme Court has come down heavily on the Zakia Jafri lobby that has been abusing the judiciary. The Supreme Court clearly said there is an ulterior and devious design, and Zakia Jafri was acting at the behest
if the police does
of
not
some
want a riot,
devious
there will be no
elements.
riot.
Now, who are these devious elements? Two of them are sitting on your panel right now because they question the Supreme Court, but they don't have the audacity to digest a judgment which has come 16 years too late.
Touseef Ahmed.
The probe started in 2006.
Touseef Ahmed, just by the way, the same Justice Khanvilkar, there's Justice Maheshwari, there's Justice Khanvilkar, and the same Justice Khanvilkar is the one who allowed Karti Chidambaram to travel abroad. So at that time, obviously, he was under no pressure. He was absolutely upstanding. He was a great justice because you like that judgment. But here, you remember that there was a press conference held, and by the way, there were judges in that press conference who were subsequently elevated by the same government that they were speaking against. So if this was a government that was out to get people, they wouldn't have got that elevation, sir. Now, my simple question, again, I'm going to ask you, if that same judge allows Karti Chidambaram to travel abroad, he is of impeccable credentials, but when that same judge upholds the finding of the SIT, and remember, this is not just about one bench. The SIT had the same findings, and now the Supreme Court has upheld those findings. Mr. Ahmed.
No, there is a Justice Banerjee report as well. Let us discuss that as well. Let us bring that to the Supreme Court as well. And you are quoting Justice Khanvilkar's some other finding in some other court does not vitiate the fact that Mr. Modi was Chief Minister at the time when Gujarat was burning. That he has a moral responsibility as a Chief Minister, as a head of the state, towards the people of the state.
So what happens in 2022 doesn't matter to you, sir. What happened in 2006, a judgment of 2022 should be ignored, but a report of 2006 is something that you would still like to cling to. So the SIT is compromised, the Supreme Court is compromised, but that investigation was not compromised.
A quick point, Padmaja.
There are two reports. Padmaja, there are two reports. One report gives clean chit. One report which says that the train burning incident was an accident. How can you pick one and ignore the other? I don't understand. Because you want to portray.
Nobody is picking one or the other. I am going by the apex court of the land, sir. You want to go by an investigation that was carried out by Justice Banerjee, and at that time, I don't want to go into it because I'm not going to attribute motives. Plenty was said about the then railway minister also trying to influence the probe. But let us not go back 16 years. Tushar Gupta wants to come in. Then I want to get back more into the substance of the debate. Tushar Gupta, quick rebuttal. Then I will get into about the pot boiling. Who kept the pot boiling and why? Tushar Gupta.
Give him a clean chit.
I am not going to give a clean chit. The Supreme Court has given him a clean chit, for heaven's sake.
Touseef ji, rukiye. In the future, there will be.
Tomorrow you will go and call the Supreme Court also and talk of somebody or the other, sir.
No chief minister would be held liable for the riots.
It is lovely, sir. And let me just say very fleetingly, since you usually come to defend the Trinamool Congress government, you sat here and defended. When the court observed how there was large-scale post-poll violence that took place in May 2021, you sat here and defended it. You said this was not a reflection on the chief minister, but today in the face of the Supreme Court giving the clean chit to the then chief minister of you say, oh, I'm going to hang on to a report which came 16 years ago. Anyway, go on. Tushar Gupta, respond to this. Can you ignore what was said in Justice Banerjee report? So what the Supreme Court has said? Tushar Gupta.
Padmaja, you know what the Supreme Court has done today? It has not dismissed a petition. It has not put an end to a debate. The people of India already know what the reality is. They have shown it in 2014, in 2017, in 2019, in 2022. But what the Supreme Court has put an end today is a business that was running for 20 years, where lawyers were pretending to be the crusaders of truth, where authors were masquerading as activists, writing fiction books, telling that this is the gospel truth about the riots, where people like Touseef Ahmed, hypocrites of the first order, were saying that they were the representatives of 220 million Muslim voices in India, and they were doing a great disservice to the entire Muslim community in India by peddling lies and propaganda. They were peddling lies and propaganda, Padmaja. That is what the Supreme Court has put an end to today. From this day on, people like Touseef Ahmed, people who write books, masquerade as activists, cannot tell the Muslims of India that this government is anti-minority. That is what the Supreme Court has put an end today to. These people cannot now use CAA or the hijab or the NRC to tell Muslims that Modi is against you. That is what the Supreme Court has put an end today. The Supreme Court has clearly stated that these people like Touseef Ahmed, want to keep the pot boiling because they want to block every reform. They want to create a situation of unrest within the country. They want to harness communal divide.
I am just going by the Justice Banerjee report, which I feel was more factual than what the SIT has found. Why do you want him to forget what Justice Banerjee said? That people were cooking on a stove inside S6 of the Sabarmati Express and it exploded and people died in an accident. Touseef Ahmed wants to believe that.
Touseef Ahmed also wants to believe, Padmaja, that there was no post-poll violence in West Bengal. How do we go about that? He also wants to believe that people who voted BJP in Bengal were not selected and molested or harassed after the election results came out. My simple question to Touseef Ahmed is, will he believe the Supreme Court judgment today or yes or no? Will he accept the judgment of the Supreme Court today, yes or no?
Touseef Ahmed.
Yes or no?
I will request you not to make. I will request.
Is he telling us that the Supreme Court is
friend you have brought on the panel? I don't know his name.
Tushar Gupta.
You must refrain from making mockery of Justice Banerjee. You have no idea the contribution Justice Banerjee has made to our
Sir, nobody is mocking Justice Banerjee. On the contrary, you just passed libelous comments about the Supreme Court.
Only for
you are making a mockery of the media, sir. You are sitting here making a mockery of the media, of the judiciary, of the electorate.
In order to give a clean chit, to Narendra Modi and his moral responsibility.
Sir, you will talk about anything but facts. You will talk about anything but facts.
You are putting allegations against Justice Banerjee.
For the last 16 minutes is quoting from a judgment, is quoting from reports, is quoting from what the SIT says, and you are only swinging on windmills. That's all you are doing.
Nothing will change the fact that Modi was the chief minister when Gujarat was burning.
Okay.
Nothing will change.
Sanju Verma wants to make a quick point, and I'll bring in Gokul Chandran. Yes, what's your point, Sanju Verma?
And an apology is due from him.
Sanju Verma, just a second. Sanju Verma.
An apology is still due from
You will have to ask these, this other panelist from TMC, TMC sympathizer to please hold his horses. Okay, Touseef, get on and on and on about justice.
An apology.
The Banerjee Commission report. Now, I want to say, since you selectively quoted the Banerjee Commission report, I am quoting another report. Report by a former retired judge of the Gujarat High Court called K.G. Shah, and report by former Supreme Court Judge G.T. Nanavati. The joint report by Shah and Nanavati clearly says, and I'm quoting ad verbatim, fuel was thrown inside the coach carrying Kar Sevaks, and then the train was attacked by a mob of Muslims. This is not Sanju Verma quoting. I'm quoting a report by Justice K.G. Shah and Justice G.T. Nanavati. So please stop lying. The train incident in Sabarmati Express was not an accident, and Rafiq Hussain, the key culprit, was apprehended by the Superintendent of Police, Leena Patil, in 2021.
The key culprit was acquitted. Where are you, madam? Where are you? Know your facts. Know your facts. The key culprit, those, yes, key culprit of Godhra train burning was acquitted by the court. Where are you, madam? Get your facts checked.
Saying Rafiq Hussain was innocent. Go to court saying Rafiq Hussain was innocent.
Okay, we cannot. Okay, if we go back 20 years and quote selectively from various reports and judgments, it's going to be half-baked and leave us nowhere. So at the very end, it has all, the whole case has come down to this. So let's just restrict ourselves to the present case. Many people would want to keep changing the goalpost because it does not suit them to quote from what has been said today. But let me come to you now, Gokul Chandran. The people who kept the quote-unquote pot boiling. Here's what the court said about it. It has been ruled that Ms. Teesta Setalvad has no locus standi to join the cause of the appellant. Secondly, the antecedents of Ms. Setalvad need to be reckoned, and also because she has been vindictively persecuting this list for her ulterior design by exploiting the emotions and sentiments of the appellant, Zakia Jafri, the real victim of the circumstances. So essentially what the court has said is that the real victims were exploited, misled, misinformed, and actually misused for political vendetta.
Yeah, good evening, Padmaja. See, the Supreme Court verdict didn't surprise me actually. It's a foregone conclusion. The investigative agent produced such things, the court cannot do much. So the SIT, they had already prepared a clean sheet for Mr. Modi, and the court cannot do anything much.
That's not true, sir. If I can just pause you for a second, the court can say, and it has said in multiple cases, for example, in some cases related to the Northeast Delhi riots, the investigation was shoddy, and because of that, we are letting the accused go. Contrary to that, the court in its judgment today has said the SIT investigation is unscathed. The court has gone a step further and said that the investigation was upstanding. Now go on.
Padmaja, we know Indian law very much and the loopholes in Indian law. I don't want to get much into the law and the court.
No, you should get into the facts. So, no, we cannot have a hypothetical debate over here that we know the law is bad, we know people are corrupt. Come to facts. Come to facts, sir.
Get into that. No, I'll not.
And my question to you is different. My question to you is, has the court actually called out people who in the garb of being activists actually misused, misled the actual victims?
Yeah, I'll talk on that. See, Mr. Modi has won 2 general elections, 2014 and 2019. He must have got absolved in all the cases, but still the pot will be kept boiling because people like me still believe that Mr. Modi is the mastermind behind the.
That is good. Congratulations to you. But I am asking about the law, sir. And the law says that people kept the pot boiling by misleading the actual victims. Shouldn't those people be brought to book?
that opinion about Modi, the then Chief Minister of Gujarat, was the chief engineer of those riots. Nothing is going to change.
Okay.
And
this is not about your opinion, sir. I was hoping for some facts. Sanju Verma wants to respond. I will keep going to each guest and try and get some actual facts. But go on, Sanju Verma.
Padmaja, page number 305. It was a 452-page judgment. And for me, the most important paragraph is under point 88. While parting, the Supreme Court said, we express our appreciation for indefatigable work done by the team of SIT officials in the challenging circumstances they had to face, and yet we find that they have come out with flying colors, unscathed. The Supreme Court has not only given Prime Minister Modi, then Chief Minister of Gujarat, a clean check. The Supreme Court has said that the SIT has come out with flying colors and said that it is extremely unfortunate that with ulterior design, some people, and they have named three, R.B. Srikumar, they have named, now no longer alive, Haren Pandya, they have named Sanjeev Bhatt. These are the people who wanted to keep the pot boiling to create sensation and politicize the issue. And Zakia Jafri was acting at the behest of devious elements, in bracket Congress government, which was in power at the center then.
And Mr. Memon, isn't it shocking that to get one man and try and put him in jail and perhaps end his career, facts were made up? And again, this is from the Supreme Court, where the meeting that has been quoted ad nauseum, the meeting where Sanjeev Bhatt said that I was present, and the then Chief Minister said, let Hindus vent their anger. That is nothing more than made up. That was a falsehood, according to the Supreme Court, the apex court of our country. Mr. Memon.
मैं काफी देर से सभी लोगों को ध्यान से सुन रहा था। मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ 2 मिनट मुझे बात करने दी जाएगी। हमको ये चीज नहीं भूलनी चाहिए कि पिछले कुछ सालों में हमने देखा है कि फैसिस्ट फोर्सेस जो हमारे देश में काम कर रही है, वो आपको भी पता है, हमको भी पता है कि फैसिस्ट फोर्सेस कौन है। उन्होंने कोर्ट के जजों के सामने सिर्फ 2 तरीके के ऑप्शन रखे हैं, या तो आप अच्छा जजमेंट दो और सांसद बन जाओ, या फिर आप जज लोहिया की तरह उस अंत के करीब चले जाओ। ये बात हमको भूलनी नहीं चाहिए। दूसरी आपने पॉइंट कही कि मोदी गवर्नमेंट जो गुजरात में उस समय सत्ता में थी, उनको क्लीन चिट कोर्ट ने दी है, तो आप सभी को मुबारकबाद, भारत देश को मुबारकबाद कि गुजरात के मुसलमानों को किसी ने कत्ल नहीं किया, वो खुद ब खुद मर गए। आपको मुबारकबाद।
Sir, by the way, let me just remind you, Mr. Memon, let me remind you that of the 1,000 plus people, the official figure of people who died in the Gujarat riots, 254 were Hindus as well. So please, let's not be completely fact-free. It was terrible. It was a riot. People should go to jail. People have gone to jail. People have been held guilty. People have been named. But please, for heaven's sake, do not always look at it through a fact-free prism. आप कह रहे हैं कि हाँ जी किसी ने मुसलमानों को नहीं मारा, 254 हिंदू भी मरे थे इन पोस्ट गोधरा वायलेंस। मिस्टर मेमन,
अगर आपके बायस रेटोरिक्स खत्म हो गए हो तो
बायस नहीं है सर, ये आंकड़े हैं। मैं आपको आंकड़े बता रही हूं, आपको एग्जैक्ट मैं आंकड़े बता देती हूं। 1044 people were killed in post Godhra riots, 254 of them were Hindus. And just by the way, while we sit here, and this is not about comparing riots or comparing deaths and murders, do you even know how many people were burnt alive in the Godhra train? साबरमती एक्सप्रेस में कितने लोगों को मारा था, ये पता भी है किसी को? Do you even know the figure? Leave alone their names.
हो जाए तो फिर
आपको एहसान जाफरी जी पता है, and he should get justice. But do you know the name of even one person who was killed in the Godhra train? एक का नाम बता सकते हैं आप?
साबरमती ट्रेन,
गोधरा ट्रेन के ऊपर जस्टिस बैनर्जी की रिपोर्ट है। अभी आप नहीं मानना है तो आपकी इच्छा है।
ठीक है सर, आप मानिए, बिल्कुल बेशक आप जस्टिस बैनर्जी की रिपोर्ट मानिए, आप जस्टिस नानावती की मत मानिए, आप जस्टिस खानविलकर का ऑर्डर मत बता दीजिए, बट अगर आपको सच में जस्टिस चाहिए मेमन साहब, आपको ये नहीं पूछना चाहिए दैट हु आर द पीपल हु ट्यूटर्ड विटनेसेस. लेट मी एक्चुअली कोट टू यू फ्रॉम द SIT फाइंडिंग्स ऑफ व्हाट वाज सेड अबाउट प्रिपेयरिंग विटनेस स्टेटमेंट्स. The judgment has taken note of the argument of SIT that 19 witnesses insisted to take on record their prepared statements which were prepared by तीस्ता सेतलवाद. सर 19 लोगों ने exactly same statement दिया और उनको तीस्ता सेतलवाद ने प्रिपेयर किया था. कौन लोग थे जो कि according to the court, let me again quote to you from the judgment, who was vindictively persecuting this list for her ulterior design by exploiting emotions and sentiments. अपने डिजाइन्स के लिए एक्सप्लॉइट कर रहे थे. आपको तो जाकिया जाफरी के लिए बात करनी चाहिए ना. She is the one who was exploited, मेमन साहब.
तो मैडम आप ये कहना चाहती है कि कुछ 15-20 लोगों ने एक जैसा स्टेटमेंट दिया.
सर जाकिया जाफरी की बात कर लीजिए ना. मैं ऑर्डर से कोट कर रही हूँ कि उनको एक्सप्लॉइट किया गया है अकॉर्डिंग टू द सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ आवर कंट्री.
थोड़ा सा इत्मीनान रखिए, हैव पेशेंस
जी.
आपके हिसाब से 15-20 लोगों को अलग अलग जबानी देनी चाहिए, सेम जबानी नहीं देनी चाहिए, अलग अलग जबानी देनी चाहिए, तब वो जबानी मानी जाएगी. जोक है ये किसी तरीके का. अगर कोई जुल्म हुआ है, 15-20 लोगों ने देखा है, वो एक ही जबानी देंगे, जो देखा है वही देंगे.
चलिए कोई बात नहीं. I think it is quite safe to say from the 3 people we've heard speak right now that you will keep dancing around the facts. But just a second, Tushar Gupta, from what you have heard so far, do you really think that this is an issue that will be laid to rest? Maut ka saudagar became a leitmotif for most political campaigns, especially when it was against Narendra Modi. With this judgment, is that finally put to bed?
मौत का सौदागर आधा फ्रेज है, मुसलमानों के मौत का सौदागर. आपको ये समझना
तुषार गुप्ता,
मौत का सौदागर
नहीं हिंदू भी क्यों आप नहीं. आई वांट टू आस्क मिस्टर मेमम, क्या आपको मरता हुआ हिंदू नहीं दिखाई देता? आप ये बोल दीजिए, आप मुसलमान करें, आपको मरता हुआ हिंदू दिखाई नहीं देता?
मैं आपको प्रूव कर दूंगा.
आप ये बताइए, आपको मरता हुआ हिंदू नहीं दिखाई देता? आप मुसलमान करी जाए. आपको इतनी सी बात समझ नहीं आती कि दंगों में हिंदू भी गए, हिंदू भी मरे थे, मुसलमान भी मरे थे. ये क्या मुसलमान लगा रखा है? Padmaja, I'll make a larger point here. These people, the 3 of them, one of them who proudly said that we will keep the pot boiling, are the people who want to create a sentiment, a larger public sentiment that the government is anti-minority, there is some fascism going on in this country. These are the same people who peddle these agendas through their books in international forums. Now the question is, why do they do that? Why do they want create a communal disturbance in this country? Why do they want to widen the Hindu-Muslim divide? This is the question we should be asking them. For them, Godhra is just one of the issues. Tomorrow these people will stand up and say NRC is against Indian Muslims. Day after tomorrow they'll say Agnipath is against Indian Muslims. At the end of the week they'll come up with saying that the anti-minority schemes of the government are against minorities. These people are only looking for issues. Their larger ambition is to create a sentiment, to create an impression that the government is anti-minority. That is what they want to do. Now the question is, why do they want to do it, and on whose behest are they doing this?
All right. By all means, carry out a political campaign, but let law and actual justice for the people affected not become collateral damage. In that limited hope, thank you very much, all gentlemen and Sanju Verma, for joining me.